Hey y'all, Katherine here at Indoor Kitty Cat, and welcome to my speed build of Verdigree Notaberry's house in Oasis Springs for the mint generation of the Not So Very Legacy Challenge. So curl up, get cozy, and let's play some Sims. So today I'm going to be showing you the speed build for Verdigree Notaberry. I am building in Oasis Springs, which is a place I have not actually built in before. So this is my first time building a Southwestern style house. So I started by placing a square like everybody always does, and then adjusting things, and then looking around at the houses nearby and realizing that I don't have any ideas for a layout on my own for a Southwestern style build. So I looked up a reference photo of a Southwestern style house for a small house, and a layout actually. It had a layout too, which was really nice. So I took some inspiration from that. And so I started following that instead. I placed some pillars and spandrels just to start with to see kind of what I wanted for the outdoor living space, and then started adding the roofing. I was trying to work with a platform over here, um, but it was creating this weird glitch thing with the platform and the roof to where I couldn't add the roof trim, and there's just this weird gap. The reference photo I was looking at had a flat roof going on, and I really wanted to try to do that with the new platform tool, but it just was not cooperating for me. So I gave up on that for a little bit and decided to come back to that later. I'm working on the what tiles I want for the roof at this point. I couldn't decide if I wanted to go with the orange and red like all the other houses around, or if I wanted to do the white. So I stuck with the white for a little bit. Because I thought with a mint generation, having the green on the outside would look better with the white. But then I decided to eventually change that up. My reference photo, it had a stone color on the exterior, and then on that front tower, and then it had the adobe around. You could see I was trying to mess with that platform again for a little bit, but that wasn't working. I searched for some support beams. The reference photo just had support beams and no pillars in the front, but looked really odd to just have the support beams there and no pillars in the front. So I ended up tweaking that again later. I kept getting frustrated with the roof um, over there, so I just kept ignoring it for a long, long time. And I decided then to switch to the kind of more orange tile for the roofing. It really felt more southwestern. Kind of reminded me of the houses I would see a lot when we go visit family in Southern California. Seeing houses that look more like that. I'm now changing up my pillars to an actual more, southwestern style, and changing the windows to have that white trim. Since I didn't go for the white roofing, I decided to go for white trim. I then decided to do just a super flat roof and then add the trim around the lowered roof instead of dealing with the platforms anymore. I couldn't decide on tile for a while. There were so many different options I really, really liked. Um, so I was kind of clicking around back and forth, like, oh, which one is the best one? How wide do I want to go? Because I'm working on a budget here. I'm creating a starter home, so I'm trying to make it with less than 20,000 simoleons and still have a little bit left over for afterwards for the for living, for Verdigree to have money for food and things like that. So it was at this point, I'm like, oh, maybe I should work on resizing some things and, making sure I'm not spending too many simoleons on, the size of the house. It was also important to me to have it be a tiny home, residential. It ended up being a small house, 100 tiles out of 100, because you get a few little perks and benefits with that. So I wanted to make sure that I would get those for the house. Here I was trying to mess around with some new CC that I recently got. Ravishing is one of my favorite custom content creators. They come up with beautiful things all the time. I couldn't decide if I wanted to go more traditional or more modern. I love that it's called Feel the Burn for their fireplace custom content here. That brings me a heck of a lot of joy. Uh, so I created a rough draft of where I would want the fireplace to be, and then start working on the bathroom and bedroom layout over here. I realized it was getting a little dark to see what was going on, so I added some of the super subtle saucer lights to make sure I could see what the heck I was doing. And I came back to working on the fireplace area over here to separate the living area from the kitchen. The floor plan had this kind of fireplace in like a little nook area of the kitchen. I decided to just create a column and then add some more ravishing custom content to create a mix of vintage yet still slightly modern. Verdigree, has those little roots of wanting to keep things simple for because of how she grew up with her mom and everything. But also, I wanted to make sure that it would have a modern aesthetic since she is in the scientist career. At this point, I realized I didn't have enough space for a proper bathroom, and so I was trying to readjust the house and have enough tiles for doors and Sims to route through things and all those fun things you have to think about when you're building a house first, and what a normal human could actually walk through and manage in The Sims a sim cannot. They just can't. You're like, but you should be able to pass through there, but they can't. So over here, I realized I needed to add some roof trim again because I was frustrated with my layout. And so I'm like, well, I'll take a break from that and go elsewhere. I don't build a lot. It's been more of a thing recently that I've been building more. I've been enjoying it though. I like building smaller houses. I'm really good at building your typical, suburban house, like Willow Creek and things like that. Again, this was a challenge for me. I don't usually build in Oasis Springs, but I was proud of myself for, finding a solution for, you know, my bathroom and, still having 100 tiles of 100, for my small house for the beginning. So I'm pulling out some more ravishing custom content over here. Um, I wanted to build a really nice shower and bathroom. The layout wasn't working for me for some reason at first, and then I realized I hadn't turned cheats on for BB Move objects, so I had to adjust that later. And that helped a lot once I did that. I love the ravishing bathroom content. It's so good. Over here, I was seeing if my pillars could go down to the ground. They couldn't. So I was like, well, after that, I went back to bathroom, realized I didn't have my cheat on. All my problems were solved then at that point. So I was able to create a beautiful shower. I wanted to make sure it was nice and big. This is where I really was looking at my reference photo for the house again. I then realized large picture windows are probably not the best for the bathroom. I then also realized my sim probably could not route around this particular layout of the bathroom. So I had to make some quick little adjustments and decided this area would be better for the sink so that I could add a mirror. And of course, can't forget the toilet paper. I then decided to go into her bedroom. I think I ended up using Yes, I used Peacemaker for my custom content for the bed. Um, Wanted to look at the different bed covers and bed frames, and I really liked how this looked together. Kind of had that modern, kind of reminded me of like an atom for science a little bit, but was still, that mint aesthetic, which I really, really liked. I then put in the ravishing small end table. Added a mirror. I think I ended up deleting that because I needed to save some simoleons for verdigris. Um, I was very proud of myself. I did remember a trash can for the kitchen. I will tell you, I did forget to add a fire alarm and a outdoor trash bin when I was doing the build at the time, but I have added it, and so when I upload it to the gallery, it will have those things added to it. Um, there are a few things I tweaked after the fact. This was the ravishing tile that I then just added to the bathroom and the kitchen, and then I'm making sure that I am painting the walls, because sometimes you accidentally click on the outside and you miscover something. Added a very light minty color to the kitchen and did a turquoise for the bedroom to pull out some blue from the bedding. I was going to do the same tile for the kitchen as the bathroom, but then I found a different one that I really, really liked. So I added that. I did the Ravishing custom content flooring. I really love ravishing stuff. You'll see a bunch of ravishing throughout a lot of my builds because they just are it's so supremely done. I love getting a good maxis match for things in build for The Sims. And so if you can play with custom content, I would highly recommend getting ravishing in there. Here's us trying to make an epic entry with this, vaulted entryway. I found this cool light that I really, really liked, but then I realized we would hardly ever see the light actually while we're playing. And it was just an expense that really could not afford. I then opened up the entry instead of just having an arch there, added the spandrels and some additional pillars to really bring in that Southwestern Mission style again. And I decided I needed to start working on this outdoor living space since we didn't have enough room for a dining room inside. So I grabbed a table and, some chairs, and I was like, oh, she can entertain out here. It'll be perfect. So I was pulling up, perfect patio stuff and found this really adorable table that I absolutely loved and the matching chairs. It was perfect. And then I was pulling up the fencing to put it around it. Because of the recent updates, you have to make sure you don't put the fencing where you put the stairs, otherwise Sims can't go upstairs anymore. So I had to make sure I didn't cover that up. And then I was trying to, make sure I got the, stairs everywhere and lined up properly. But then I realized since Verdigree needs to work on a logic skill, she needed at least a chess table. So then I was trying to fit the dining room table on the patio and the chess table. And I was just like, you know what? It's just her by herself right now. She can eat at her island. She needs her chess table out on the outdoor living space. We can fix things up later. So that's like, okay, well, let's try to fit a desk somewhere and a computer. I getting down there on my simoleons, and I'm just like, well, what's the most, what can I do? So I deleted the light in the entryway, so I could try to fit a desk and a computer. But that then didn't leave anything for a sofa. And I didn't have a TV or a bookcase. So I was like, oh shoot. So what am I gonna do now? So then I deleted the mirror. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's get a television because that's really good for getting the fun up and get a sofa. I ended up moving that a little bit farther back because when I play tested it, she couldn't light up the fireplace. I then got some books so that she could study logic and mischief and stuff like that. Decided to save some money by not having tile leading the up to the front instead. Uh, then I decided to do some terrain paint instead. Don't worry, I do notice that window. There I go, I delete it. So then I did some terrain paint instead to save some simoleons, updated her mailbox, and here I am going around. I'm like, okay, what can I do to save some simoleons? And I'm like, oh, well, I can fix this and save some more simoleons. It's amazing what you can do just by moving the staircase. And I'm like, oh, wow, I can do some landscaping now. So I added some. I looked at the landscaping around in the environment of Oasis Springs, and did my best to make sure it kind of coordinated with the houses in the surrounding neighborhood, aloe vera plants and things like that. Um, I also looked at my reference photo that I had to make sure that it kind of looked like the southwestern build that I had pulled up to inspire me for this build. I then changed the terrain paint to something that fit the environment a little bit more. And here I was experimenting with the patio, and if I could figure out some landscaping for the back, I ended up really limiting, limiting, limiting the landscaping that I had back here, just because she'll be making money really soon and we'll be able to update it back here. Plus, eventually, we'll be probably extending the house, so that's, a little more livable for more Sims than just one. Um, Now I'm making sure that I've added some of the lot traits that will help Verdigree out and her legacy to really succeed with their skills. Fixing the roof, making sure that all looks really nice and neat. I then realized that my reference photo had some windows up there, but I decided I really didn't like that anymore. So, um, here now you can see some screenshots of my build. You'll notice I added a little bit more landscaping in the front, and you can kind of see how the interior of the house looks with it all said and done. So I think it turned out really, really nice, and I really, really like it. Um, so I'll be uploading this build with the fire alarm and the outdoor trash can and the updated landscaping to the gallery. You can find it with my origin ID, Indoor Kitty Cat. I will have it shared up. Yeah, I use custom content, so you'll have to click the custom content box in the gallery. But you won't have the kitchen stuff, but everything should work layout wise using Max's Match items in there. And in the bathroom, you should be able to add a shower stall, and it should work out just fine. I hope you enjoyed my speed build. It was a lot of fun explaining my process to you all today. And until next time, keep cozy, be kind to yourself, and we'll play again later.